Hello and welcome to this explanation of the trainer board. So what you see here is a trainer board for relay sequence control.
Every single day, I'm gonna make something great. That's my way.
And what we have here is you've got the live line, which you see in red here, and then you've got the neutral line that is running across there. And then here what we have is a relay connector, relay 1, relay 2, relay 3, relay 4, relay 5, relay 6. Now 5 and 6 are what we use for timer relays, that is timer relay 1 and timer relay 2, and this is a capacitive and resistive counter. Then each relay has got the coil. So this here we power the coil, so you can see the coil connections, and then afterwards each relay has got normally open and normally closed contacts. So you see the normally open contacts and then the normally closed contacts that you can see there. Equally, the timer relays have got the coil, so we power the coil from here, and then you've got the normally open, and normally closed timer relays. So this will time to close, this will time to open, and these are the contacts that you can use. Then on this far end you see the push button, so you've got the push button, the red push button, the green push button, and the yellow push button. Then here you've got selector switches, and you can see that each switch has got a normally open and normally closed, normally open, normally closed, same as the push button. So these are designed to be used for both stopping and starting. So you've got the normally open, normally closed, normally open, normally closed. Now we want to look at two circuits. This is the power circuit, the power switch, and here is a motor that is used to demonstrate operations that the motor is running and the motor is not running. It is fitted with two limit switches which have got their own contact. Limit switch 1, limit switch 2. Normally open, normally closed. Okay. Now let's look at a two-wire circuit. So we call this two-wire circuit because you've got wires 1 before you reach the switch, and the other wire, which is wire 2, before you reach the coil, which is the load. In this case we have a light as an indicator light. So to wire this two-wire circuit, we have from the live, we're picking live to the switch, and then from the switch we are going to the light, and from the light we go to the neutral, and then we see if we push the switch if the light is going to come on. So to demonstrate that, I've got these connectors that I'm going to use, and these connectors are simply going to be plugged in. So I'm going to pick switch 1 here on the normally open side of the switch, and from there I'm going to connect to the normally open side of the switch. From there connect to one of the indicator lights, from the indicator light back to neutral. So we've made the circuit, which is the two-wire circuit, which you can see here, and we want to see if it's going to operate accordingly. So in this circuit, if we close this switch, the light must come on, and this is what we have done here. So if we close this switch, the light comes on, and in this sense this circuit is running accordingly. So we've got line 1 and line 2. We press the switch, the light comes on, we switch off the switch, the light goes off. Switch comes on, switch goes off. So that is a small demonstration of a two-wire circuit. Okay, now let's look at the 3-wire circuit. So for a 3-wire circuit, we're looking at a situation where you've got line 1 going to the stop button. From the stop button, you've got 2 lines going, one to the start, one to the holding on contact, and then you've got another wire which is going to the motor coil, and then the overload and to the neutral. In this case, we are neglecting the overload in this case, and what we are going to do now is use the relay. So we've got this relay that we are going to use in place of the contactor. So the relay is plugged in like so. Okay, so the relay is plugged in, and then we start to wire. So we're coming from the live to the normally closed side of the stop button, and then from the normally closed side of the stop button, we're running 2 conductors, so we need a splitter. So one conductor, so here's a splitter. We've got one conductor going to the start button, the normally open side of the start button, and then one conductor is going to the holding on contact of the relay. Okay, and then from there, from the other side of the start button, if I may put this circuit here, you can see from the other side of the start button here, we've got also 2 conductors. So one is coming from the holding on contact to the start button. So from the other side of the start button, we've got a splitter as well. So one conductor is coming to the holding on contact, which is here, to complete this circuit, which is the holding on contact here from the start button. So this is done, and then one conductor is going to powering the coil. So we are powering the coil here on the red port of the coil, and then from there we're moving to the neutral line. So from the other side of the coil, we go to the neutral line. So this then gives us the system to be ready, and we can test it. So once I switch it on, I can press the start button, and the start button is operating accordingly. It's holding. Now for me to show that, you can barely see what is happening. For me to show that, I'm going to power one of the indicator lights so that you're able to see what is happening. So we're just using the same relay connection which we are going to power as like so, and then from there we power to the neutral. So once we switch it on, once we start, we've got the light indicating we can stop. So the holding on contact is working, and so on. In a similar fashion, we could go ahead and power the motor so that you can see the motor starting to run the moment we so I'm connecting from the normally open side of the same relay. I'll power it from the live to there, and then the last connection is from there to the neutral side of the board. So the motor is also powered. So once we switch on, we can see the motor running. Okay, you can see the motor running, we can switch it off. Maybe you can't see clearly. I can stick some small piece of paper for you to see that it is rotating. Okay, so there you go. So when we switch it on, we start the motor. You can see the piece of paper there. You can see that that motor is rotating, and then we can also stop it. So the moment we start, we've got the indicator light holding, and this is what we call a 3-wire circuit, commonly used in industry to power motors and so forth. Okay, so that's a small demonstration of a 3-wire circuit and how it is connected on the circuit trainer board. We can add so many things to this circuit. We can add the indicator to show that the motor has stopped running or the motor is not running by simply using the closed section of the connection. So from there, which is the closed contact here, we can use this other indicator light and demonstrate that the moment we energize this light must come on to show that the switch is off. So this indicates that the motor is running. So if you have an indicator light that is showing that the motor has stopped running, this indicator light is going to show that. When it starts to run, this must go off and then the next one must come on. So for instance, once we press the start button, you can see this has started running, showing that the motor is running, and this is off. And if we stop it, focus here, if you stop it, you see that the motor has stopped running. Start running the motor, stop running the motor. The direction of the motor for single phase, like we explained, you simply switch the conductors. So if we switch these conductors, we interchange the conductors, then the motor will run in the opposite direction, and you can see that opposite direction. If it's a polyphase motor, which is 3-phase, then what you expect is that you interchange 2 of the 3 conductors and the motor is going to reverse its direction. Okay, so this is a small demonstration of using the relay sequence trainer board. There are so many circuits we can do with this. So my students, they are going to practice several circuits, few of them using the timer relays, which are these timer relays. I've got 10-second timer relays that are plugged in, and you set the timing from there. So these are 10-second timers, so they are plugged in here. They are plugged in here for timing purposes, and you can set them. So we've got 2 timer relays here that can be plugged in and the circuit's done. Okay.